Hi everyone! Today we're going to learn a little bit more about the characters in a story and the setting of a story. So at school, we already learned that the characters are who the story is about. So they're the characters in the story or the animals in the story that the story is about. And we learned that the setting is where the story takes place. So who has a guess? Who do you think the main character is in this story? So the main character is the most important character. Good guess. It might be George. George might be the main character. Our book is called Curious George at the Aquarium. Who has a guess where the book will be set? So where will the book take place? Maybe at the aquarium? That's a good guess. Let's read and find out. Curious George at the aquarium. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, George and the man with the yellow hat were visiting the aquarium. So who are the characters in the story right now? George and the man in the yellow hat. George, said the man, please wait here while I buy the tickets. George tried to wait, but he was so excited. What was inside? What do you think is inside? Maybe penguins or some fish? He wanted to look over the walls, but they were too high. Just then he heard a splash and a whoosh. Water flew high up into the air. People cheered. What could that be? George was curious. What do you think made the splash? He hopped over the gate into the aquarium. How surprised he was. So where is the setting of the story? Is it still the aquarium? Yeah, the story is set at the aquarium. Swimming right in front of George were two beluga whales. The mother and the baby beluga whale swam right past him. And not far away was a family of sea lions diving and splashing. What fun! George noticed people walking toward a big door. Could there be more to see? He followed the crowd. What do you think is inside this door? Now where was he? It was dark inside and there were fish everywhere. George did not know where to look first. In one tank, there were sharp-toothed piranhas. In another tank, there were seahorses. And in another tank, there was a large red octopus. George saw a group of children across the room. An aquarium staff member was pointing to different sea creatures. This one is a starfish. This is a clam. This is an urchin. Nearby, there was a long, colorful tank. It was perfect for touching. What does this sign say? Do not touch. Do you think this tank is perfect for touching? Maybe not. George was curious. As he reached his hand into the water, a large crab came scuttling out from under a rock and right toward his finger. Snap! Ouch! Poor George, he did not like this exhibit. So it wasn't a good idea to touch that tank. George slipped out a door and into the sunlight. But oh, what was going on here? George saw fat, funny-looking black and white fish flying under the water. He watched as they flew up out of the water. What kind of fish does that? And where did they go? George wondered. What kind of animal do you think these are? Maybe penguins? George climbed up into their exhibit. They were not fish at all, but penguins, of course. George hopped like a penguin, flipped his wings like a penguin, and waddled like a penguin. A crowd gathered and laughed, but when he slid on his belly like a penguin, the staff was angry at George. How could they catch all the penguins? A baby penguin hadn't learned to swim yet. As only a monkey can, George scaled the rope hanging over the beluga tank and swung over the water, saving the chick. The director of the aquarium and the man with the yellow hat heard the commotion and came running. The monkey helped the baby penguin, said a boy in the crowd. No one else could have saved him, said a girl. The director thanked George for his help and made him an honorary staff member of the aquarium. So we have two more characters, the director and the baby penguin. George said goodbye to his new penguin friends. He could not wait to come back to the aquarium and visit them again. The end. Who can tell us where the setting of the story was? Where did the story take place? You're right, at the aquarium. And who were the characters in our story? George, the man in the yellow hat, the penguin. The director was another character, and who was the most important character? Who was the story about? George. So George was the main character in the story. Great work, everyone.